exactly, but it was along the lines, and I was just like, do you know what? I
Yeah.
just can't do it. But yeah, do you know, I think when you initially sent me the tweet, I was probably expecting a lot more from it. I was excited because I was like, oh, okay, this is a different thing. Like it's obviously an integration of cultures, but it's quite different because it's, it's an Indian culture and Nigeria, and they can have some similarities, but obviously they're very different. So I was really interested in how they were going to play
I
it.
was really excited because obviously you have Nollywood.
Yeah, and you have
Bollywood. And I was expecting a culture mash extravaganza, You are listening to Colour Out the Box. So welcome to Colour Out the Box. As always, this is Mo and I'm finally back. So as you know, Colour Out the Box, we talk about creativity, life, and we discuss the culture. At Colour Out the Box on all socials to join the conversation. And this week I'm joined by returnee guest, May. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, it's May, as Mo has said. It's good to be back. Do you know what? The last time I recorded with you, I think it was about a year, and we did it remotely via Zoom. So It's been a year since I've been on this podcast, but I've also noticed that you haven't been around for a bit either. So Mo, where have you been?
Well, we'll get to that. Before we get into that, I'm going to ask you an icebreaker question because, we're returning.
New format, clearly.
New format, new logo, new format.
Yeah, okay.
So it's just a way for me to get to know my guest co-host a little bit without asking them the typical questions. So where is your favourite place to be?
Oh, that is a nice icebreaker question. Where is my favourite place to be? Do you know what? Everyone that knows me knows it's my flat. I just like to be at home. I'm a homebody. So nice. like you know this, I just like being at home. I'd say the favourite place in my flat is probably my front room because I get good light. But yeah, I just like to chill. I like to be at home. I like to. Maybe it's lockdown that's made me appreciate my home probably even more. But yeah, right now, this is my favourite place to be.
Nice. I like it. And it makes sense, especially because we've all been spending a lot more time at home.
I'm allowed to ask you where your favourite place to be is, or are we not doing that? Am I missing all that?
That's not how the icebreakers are working. So yeah, but I will give a quick update in terms of what I've been up to. So obviously the podcast has been on a hiatus, which was supposed to be a couple of months. That actually turned into almost a year. And the reason why I took the break is my employment status changed dramatically because of the pandemic. Like many of us, we found ourselves having to, readjust. And then also I just need to focus on some other priorities. And if I'm really honest, your girl was just a bit tired. I just wanted to take a break. So I had a break. So yeah.
I know, but you've come back fresh and brand new.
Yes, we are. And we've got, as anyone that's a returnee listener, you'll see a brand new artwork and logo, nice and bright colours. I don't know. I think with this news of the UK opening up, I feel like it was a good time to return as well. So are you looking forward to June 21st?
When apparently we all get to be outside.
Yes, when freedom is upon us.
Okay, let's hope we get there.
Yes.
I'm liking the new artwork. So yeah, I feel like I don't really see myself in it. Like I was expecting to see my face there.
Like your face specifically, or like you don't see anyone that represents you?
Oh no, there's definitely someone that represents me. That's what I like about it. I really love about it. It's just representation. But I was just thinking like my actual face I felt could have been used.
I feel like this is a conversation we can take offline. So, why don't we actually start the podcast? Okay, so this week's episode is a bit of a TV, I suppose, special. I know it's been a while since I've recorded, and I thought, you know what, let's because obviously we can't go out or go anywhere. Let's talk about what's been going on in TV land. So, I wanted to talk about May, the up and coming, I suppose, interview, TV show between Oprah Winfrey, Harry, and Meghan.
Yeah.
So that's Prince Harry and Princess Meghan Markle. What they're going to do their tell all interview to Oprah. So
I am
first
looking
thing
forward to
first,
that.
are you going to watch it?
Yes, definitely. I think they've done a really good job with enticing people to watch it. Just the suspense with like the sort of preview clips that have been going around. But yeah, I want to hear what she's got to say, and I want to hear what what he has got to say as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it on Monday night.
Mm. What do you think they're going to talk about? Because there's been so much like speculation, and like there's been loads of different clips that have been going around where they literally say, I think at one point, that the royal family were not supportive in protecting them from like the press. Like,
Yeah.
what else do you think is going to be in it?
I mean, I think, yeah, pretty much what you've said. I think she's definitely going to talk about her experience, and the fact that she wasn't allowed to speak, so her voice was muzzled for whatever reason. And I think she's going to talk about the difficulties that they faced and the issues that they had with the press, which is very clear because we can see the smear campaign that's gone on this week. And I think they're probably just going to talk about their future, really, and their plans. I think it's been a shame the way that, again, but not surprisingly, the way that there's been this massive smear campaign, just even about the interview in itself. And how dare they do this interview, and it's so so ridiculous, and it's really insensitive for them to be doing it whilst Prince Philip is in hospital, and it's just like, no, let's let them speak. That the lengths that they've gone to this week, I think, again, are just quite disgusting.
I think it's actually quite shameful, not even a shame. It's actually shameful how the British press have like treated both of them, but specifically, no, both of them. It's been pretty bad considering that how they treated Diana.
Yeah.
And she literally died trying to escape like the press attention. And they've just carried on with her kids. And then also with Meghan, like they announced that earlier on last year she had actually lost her pregnancy. She's now pregnant again. You'd think that they would like back off the press and like leave them to it, but it just seems that the hatred, and I don't know where it comes from, because I don't know, maybe I'm in an echo chamber, a bubble, but from the people around me, I feel like there's a lot of people that are indifferent to the royal family, which I am most of the time, and they don't really care, and people that really like love them. So where this hatred, where does it come from? Why are the press like this whole thing of Meghan seems to be like the worst thing ever?
Yeah, I mean, I think they've been like this since they announced that they were going to get married. I mean, I think we spoke about this on the pod, maybe just in terms of the differences in the headlines that the difference in the headlines that she got in comparison to Kate Middleton, even though it was around exactly the same thing. There's just been a dislike to her for whatever reason.
But what is the reason? Because like, let's not like beat around the bush.
Oh no, it's the UK says, we're not racist, or if they are, they're willing to learn. Everybody was putting up black squares and was standing in solidarity.
Black Square Summer, it was.
But this is an example of where racism is in action, and just because it's subtle, or it's sort of masked with lots of different things, the root is that actually a black woman has come into the royal family, which is a white institution, and has shaken things up a little bit. And the example from this week is the fact that they have decided to investigate bullying accusations or allegations, sorry, from 2018. There has never been such a public story of mistreatment and investigation to that mistreatment until, let's be clear, until the white people had to take orders from a black woman. And then sure, but we can just call that a coincidence.
Okay.
Yeah, I said it.
You sure did. You know what? I feel like I'll put in that clip of I don't know if you saw it, where you had Kelechi, Gina Yashere and Dr. Shola speaking. I think it was on BBC or Sky News.
It was on Sky News. That's the best news segment I have seen ever.
And just basically nothing was held back and everything was said. So I'll insert the clip here.
To us, we know what it looks like. The writing is on the wall. And when you have all these comments around Prince Harry, can I just say Prince Harry is the husband to Meghan that Prince Charles never was to Diana. And that's saying something. That is saying something right there. This is a man who's understood that history can repeat itself. And it's like, you know what? Like Nigerians would say, prevention is better than cure. Okay? So right now, as far as I'm concerned.
So one thing I'm going to say, and it might sound controversial, I was having a conversation with various people about the interview. And one of the things that was mentioned, maybe they should just ignore the UK press because they're now in America and just start to move on with their life.
Yeah.
And just continue not to say anything and, as some might say, take the high road. What do you say to that?
I mean, I think they need an opportunity to share whatever. And everyone has sort of said, oh, how dare Meghan Markle? Actually, Prince Harry's having this interview as well. Like, he will be in the interview. So they have chosen to speak about what they have experienced. And let's not get it twisted. Before Meghan Markle was on the scene, Harry never liked the press. He was very anti them. It's been the case for most of his life. And then all of a sudden, it's now an issue. It's a Meghan Markle thing. And that, that's not the case. But I know lots of people have sort of spoken about the fact that it's a bit of a coincidence that they sort of say, they want to be private and they don't want to share or anything like that. But yet they're having big interviews. I mean, I think have your interview and then go about your life. But yeah, you can't, I guess I kind of get what people are saying in the sense you can't ask for privacy like all the time and then want publicity.
Well, I wouldn't be upset if they did this interview and we literally never hear from them again. So we don't see the second baby. It's not our business. We don't have a right to see the second baby. They bring up their children. They live their life. But the only thing I would say is their life is trying to support various organizations and charities, which requires publicity and bringing awareness to those causes. So it would be hard for them to do that and then live in this life of solitude.
Yeah, definitely.
But a part of me does want them just to... especially Meghan, a part of me just wants her to just be happy, and it's almost like I just wanted to say, like, girl, just don't even worry about them and just live your life. But at the same time, I know me personally, if people are kept on telling lies about me, I would definitely want to at least speak my truth and explain my side of the story. Because some of the stuff is ridiculous.
Yeah, and I think it was disappointing that the institution didn't come out and speak about the fact that she was being attacked. Harry did write a letter or whatever, did speak out on it, but they didn't. And then all of a sudden, I think the Middletons had made a comment on racism. And I'm just like, where have there was issues in your own house and you didn't comment on it. And now you want to start talking about racism outside. It just doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I mean, I think people take it so personally, don't they?
I don't know why though. as I said, at most I'm indifferent to the royal family,
Hmm.
whether they're there or not. It doesn't really bother me either way.
Yeah.
However, I've never been a royalist or anti-royalist,
Yeah.
but this is definitely pushing me on the anti side
Hmm.
because I'm like, what's the purpose other than, you know, causing issue to this woman? I don't understand. And especially in this current climate that we're living in, you know, where we're probably heading into like the worst recession of our, like, you know, lifetimes. You know, we've had so many people that have gotten ill, many people
Yeah.
that have unfortunately passed away. I think as a royal family, this is a time where you really need to kind of show your value to the country
Hmm.
because it is an expense. I'm finding it hard to find what is the value because you know, you have a mixed race woman come into the royal family and literally they've bullied her out of the entire country.
Yeah.
That's not normal.
I mean, I think Harry even picks up on just the fact that I think he said something like he's been able to go through it with his wife, but he was obviously reflecting on his mother, and
Right,
the
yeah.
fact that she had to do it by herself. And it's like, you know, once you're out of the royal family, and we've seen it before, just what happens in terms of the press and, you know, you're hounded. Like they made Princess Diana's life awful.
Mm,
So, I mean, yeah, I'm intrigued, and I'm looking forward to what she
yeah.
and he as well has to say on Monday. I know people were even. I don't know if you watched the interview that he did with James Corden.
I haven't seen that one yet. Is that where um they went in the car? Is that the one
Yeah,
they
it's like the
did?
carpool karaoke, but they did it on like an open top bus, and then they
Okay.
sort of went around, and you get to see Harry in his element, which you know, you've always known he's very different from William. Like I think his personality
Mm,
just shines a bit better. But yeah, he's just a man that is protecting his family. Like he's looking after his wife and his kids. Why is that an issue? They are the
mm,
most, you know, he's been very clear at this is they are his priority. So, you know, if a man says that his family is his priority, why is that such an issue?
mm. I do think that in terms of, as I said, I don't expect them to go and live like a completely private life. I just don't think that's possible.
Mm,
But I think if they address everything in this interview,
yeah.
I think if I was them or advising them, not that I am, um, I would be like, okay, that's it. We don't talk on this particular aspect of the
Yeah,
royal family again.
yeah,
And we just
definitely.
leave it all on the table and then people can make of it what they like. Because no matter, I'm sure, what they say, people are still going to be critical.
Yeah.
But just put it out all on the table and then let's move on from it. But I just I just don't understand how people can debate with me over whether racism exists in this country
Yeah.
when we are seeing continuous, and it's not just racism. I think it's classism as well. The fact that she's American,
Yeah.
everything. But there's a genuine. It's almost kind of like she should be grateful for the position that she's in.
Hmm.
Why?
Yeah. I mean, you just think to yourself, if you know, if this baby or their next kid has the throwback black jeans and comes out with an afro and stuff like that,
Yeah,
you know
it can happen.
what kind of things are going to be written about them then?
Mm,
I think that the UK thinks that we're quite progressive and we've made steps, but again, this is an example of where it's so clear that we really haven't done anything.
no.
Just because, you know, people aren't hurling insults at people and using derogatory terms, which they are doing, doesn't mean that racism isn't in the UK. I think we
Mm.
even have the worst kind.
And you know what's so funny? It's like even people, as I said, that are not really interested in the royal family have seen that, and I'm talking about all types of different people, white people included, have been
Hmm.
like, it's bullying.
Yeah,
You know, it doesn't make sense how come all of this attention is on one member of the royal household. It
yeah,
doesn't make sense. Who actually is not even a member of the royal household anymore because they have officially retired.
hmm
been made redundant. I don't know, but yeah.
I mean, even unpicking their statement on that to the point of saying, "Oh, it was a sort of a dig when they said something about." I think they said something about our life is service, or everyone can live a life of service, and a lot of people were saying, "Oh, it was a dig at the Queen," and it's just like, oh, if they're damned if they write something and put it out, they're damned if they don't. So
Yeah.
you might as well do the interview, speak freely, and then peace out.
Yeah. And on that note, let's talk about our next topic. Okay, so May, let's change the pace. Yeah. And so before I brought the podcast back, I sent you a tweet because I saw this film called Namaste Wahala advertised. And I was like, yeah, this looks really good. So just for the sake of our listeners, so Namaste Wahala is produced and directed by Hamisha Dayani. Apologies if I have pronounced that incorrectly. It was her directorial debut. The film stars Ini Dima Okoji, who plays Didi, and Rusian Mumtaz, who plays an Indian investment banker. And basically they fall in love and and all hijinks pursue. So yeah, I saw the trailer. I was like, great, love it. Definitely going to watch it. Watched it. I don't know. Do you want to give like a 1-minute recap of the storyline?
No, not really, to be honest. So first of all, I started watching it. I feel like it took me about a week to watch this film. I started watching it, and within like 5 minutes, I think I messaged you and I was like, this film is rubbish. Those weren't my exact words, but it was along the lines. And I was just like, do you know what? I just can't do it. But yeah, do you know, I think when you initially sent me the tweet, I was probably expecting a lot more from it. I was excited because I was like, oh, okay, this is a different thing. Like it's obviously an integration of cultures, but it's quite different because it's, it's an Indian culture and Nigerian. They can have some similarities, but obviously they're very different. So I was really interested in how they were going to play it.
I was really excited because obviously you have Nollywood.
Yep. And you have
Bollywood. And I was expecting a culture mash extravaganza, from two really like rich and interesting cultures coming together. I was expecting it to be really big and fun and colorful. And for me, it just felt a little bit flat. So you're not going to do the 1-minute recap? Shall I do it?
Okay, so the guy, you need to help me with names.
The guy is called Raj.
Okay, so Raj is running along the beach, runs into a girl called Didi. In that time, he's going to marry her and hopes to meet her again. They meet, they start dating. Her parents are against it. His mum flies over. She's also against it. There's another story within a storyline, which, was good. That and then what else happens? And then basically in the end, they get married and they end up together. That's basically it. What was I?
So before we go into what we thought wasn't quite right, what did you enjoy about the film? Oh wow, it's that hard. Should I go with what I enjoyed first? I'll go first. So as I said, I think for me, the thing that really grabbed me was seeing interracial relationship represented that didn't center whiteness. And I thought that was super interesting. And as I said, the whole thing of mixing two very bold and colorful cultures together, I was really excited for that. And I think often when we watch TV and film, when And even in society, when we talk about interracial dating, we tend to put white with other, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay,
So
that's true.
it was actually refreshing and nice to see, okay, not only a black woman, a darker skinned black woman, and this Indian man, because even the representation of sometimes Indian men in like lead roles can be limited, coming together in this rom-com. So yeah, I was excited, and for me that was the big draw. Yeah. Was there anything?
Do you know what I would say actually? Okay, no, I mean, what I would say is the end of the film, even though you kind of know they're going to end together, I think the way in which the film ended was nice, just because she, as a lawyer, was trying to help on a case, which she did well on, and that in itself was good. But the fact that the families could come together, both families who were very proud and have real strong traditional values, were able to be accepting of the relationship. I thought that was a nice ending.
Okay, so let's discuss what went wrong with the film. What did you think?
For me, I felt like it spent.
See, this part you're ready to talk.
It spent so much time focusing on the little things that they were trying to do to make it comedic that it missed out on like so much other stuff that they could have touched on. So we didn't really get to unpick what the problem was within the relationship. We didn't get much culture, or like, I just felt like there was more that could have been done with the issue between the two of them, and the family's issue between the two of them. And then again, I just felt like there was like a serious subject that it touched on, in the fact that she was trying to defend a woman who had been abused physically by a man.
Yeah.
That stuff I felt could have been unpicked a bit more.
Yeah, definitely.
And you know what, with Nollywood films, there's always scenes there that you're just like, this is ridiculous.
But I think that was the problem. I think they didn't go for it enough.
Mm-hmm.
So do you remember that film, The Wedding Party?
Yes.
So let's not talk about the second one, but the first one was over the top. Mm-hmm. So The Wedding Party is a Nigerian film, and it was super popular, and it was over the top, and it was colorful, and it was like loud. I think I was expecting this, because even when they did the Bollywood style kind of like dancing, I was waiting for the other dancers to come out and join in, and I was expecting like a big set piece, and it just never happened. And it looked like the budget wasn't matching maybe the filmmakers' expectation.
Yeah, and I think it was almost 2 hours long. So I remember getting to an hour in, and I was just like, what's gone on so far? Like, so much could have been done in the hour. I mean, there was one scene where they were trying to be really funny, where his mum arrives in Nigeria, and
with the taxi driver,
and the taxi guy just came to pick him up, and it was about a 5-minute scene of them just
and
shouting.
It was quite cringy, because they were literally just screaming at each other.
And I just thought to myself, I just can't with this film. It's a shame, because I had high expectations for it.
Me too.
But I just don't think it did what I thought it was going to do.
And I think also for a rom-com, shouldn't I feel the chemistry between the two leads? Like, I didn't believe that Didi and Raj loved each other, or even fancied each other. I wasn't feeling love.
I think at points I just thought these are two quite bad actors, and I was just like, this is not good.
I've seen her in other like Nigerian like series, and she's actually really good. They had some like really good like actors and actresses in the film, but
they had some high end ones. I can't remember. The dad is a really famous.
Well, his name is called Richard Moffat Damijo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he's in a lot.
I remember his name for some reason.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, he's a really good actor, and even I felt like he was struggling. in this.
Yeah. I mean, it was giving me more Bollywood than it did give me Nollywood, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Okay. So let's move on. So as always on Colour Out the Box, we like to explore the culture, including what's going on. So moving on with our TV and Netflix review, Behind Her Eyes, the Netflix
let me get comfortable
miniseries.
for this one.
Get comfortable, because I'm still kind of uncomfortable by the ending, but we'll get to that. So for those that haven't seen it, I've already said spoiler alert, I think, but I'll say it. So spoiler alert, if you haven't watched the show, go and watch it on Netflix and then come back and listen to the podcast, because we are going to spoil the ending, which is actually the big thing. So it's a mini-series created by Steve Lightfoot, based upon the 2017 book by Sarah Pinborough, starring Simona Brown, who plays Louise, Tom Bateman, who is Dr. David, and Eve Hawson, who's Adele, and not forgetting Robert Aramayo, maybe, and he plays Rob. I'm going to give the 1 minute recap. So, May, just to remind you what happened. So, Louise is a single divorced mother of one. After a chance meeting, meets a mysterious, handsome man at a bar who later turns out to be her boss, Dr. David. Like most normal people, Louise and David embarked on an affair. That's what you do at work. Whilst Louise also became best friends with Adele, who happens to be David's wife. But the love triangle gets even stranger. Adele teaches Louise how to astro project her spirit, to leave her body and go anywhere she has been before. Thrown in the mix is the murder of Adele's best friend, Rob. Okay, so that's the 1 minute overview. First question.
I mean, if I knew your 1 minute overview was going to be like this, I would have done a better job with Namaste.
I mean, I did say like 3 times. I was like, are you going to do 1 minute over? And you're like, yeah, whatever. So first question, May, what did you think of the series? And second part of the question, do you think you would have watched it if we were not in lockdown?
That was a leading question. Okay, let me go with the first part. What did I think?
First part. What did you think?
Admit, when it first came on, someone told me about it, and I was like, do you know what? I just think it's going to trigger me, because I just thought it was about a woman that was having an affair or got herself involved with a couple or whatever. And I didn't necessarily know it was a psychological thriller, so I wasn't expecting that. So I was a bit like, oh, I don't really want to watch this. Why is it a black woman that's being cast to get herself involved in a white couple's marriage, and to be
I actually quite like that.
I just thought, I just don't need this, so didn't watch that. And then I was like, okay, fine. So I started, and she was just annoying me, because I was just like, I feel like black women just don't have time for all the stuff that she was doing.
So that's Louise, who started having an affair with Dr. David. Yeah,
I was just like, you're doing too much. So yeah, she was just being really nosy, like, okay, she's having an affair, but then you're trying to be friends with the wife, and you're not letting things go, and you're just getting involved in things that she didn't need to be involved in. But then I got hooked. I think it was by episode like 3. And I was more hooked because Adele, who is the wife, there was definitely a story there, which we obviously find out later, but she just was so much more intriguing to me. I was like, what is her story? Which is probably why I carried on watching it. When they started doing all this whole thing where they could leave their body and all this other stuff, I kind of switched off from all of that, because it just wasn't going in the way I expected. But I was really intrigued in what happened with Adele and her friend Rob. So yeah, that's it. That's what I thought of it. I mean, all in all, the ending, it was not what I was expecting.
Well, let's hold before you go to the ending. My second part of the question, would you have watched this if we were not in lockdown?
I would have, you know. Do you know, I would have.
Because I wouldn't.
I would have, because it would have just been something. I mean, it would have been on anyway if it was working. I probably would have watched it. Yeah. I would have. You really wouldn't have.
I feel like since we've been in lockdown and quarantine, my I just tend to watch whatever anyone else is watching, so just so I can join the conversation online. And because a lot of people were tweeting about this in terms of like, you know, the ending, I just was like, okay, you know what, let me have a look. But I think I'm with you. I've started watching it thinking, okay, was it going to be, you know, like Dr. Foster?
Yeah, it would definitely give me Dr. Foster vibes to
Then
start with.
and then I was like, okay, it's a murder mystery. And then we had this kind of, I don't know if you call it like, what's the word? Not science fiction, not clairvoyant, but anyway, we had this other turn of this astro projection of like your spirit out of your body. I just was like, where is this going? So I found, and literally I continued watching because I was just like, I need to understand where the story is going. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't see that coming.
The
ending.
Yeah.
Shall we talk about the ending?
Yeah, let's go for it. I think for me,
first, what happened?
Yeah, so in the end, we find out that Adele is actually not Adele. She is Rob. So Adele and Rob were in they were locked up in a,
I think like some kind of institution to support people's, like, I think it looked like a rehab or mental health facility.
And they could both, he taught her how to switch.
No, she taught him.
Oh, so she taught him how to leave his body.
Yeah, and then he suggested, let's swap.
Yeah, so they swapped souls or whatever. And then he was in her body and gave her an overdose.
Yeah, and killed her.
So Rob is now in Adele's body. Adele is in Rob's body, but Adele is now dead. But people think Rob's dead. And then she's living, Adele and Rob, or is living with the husband, basically. But Adele realizes that the husband has fallen for Louise and gives himself an overdose or leaves his body or calls Louise who's going to commit suicide. And then Louise and her fast self goes to the house. Instead of her just to call the police, she decides...
Or the fire brigade, because the house was on fire.
She decides with her fast self that she's going to leave her body and try and get into Adele's body. And I don't know what she was thinking was going to happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, she does that, leaves her body, ends up in Adele's body. Adele is already left her body and is waiting for Louise, gives her an overdose, and Louise now is dead. So Adele lives on, basically.
Now inside. So Rob from back in the day, has been living as this white woman, is going to be living as a black woman, and then marries Dr. David, who still doesn't know what's going on. And also we forget Louise also has a son, little Adam.
And that's disturbing.
That's the bit that is disturbing for everybody, because I genuinely am like worried for baby Adam, even though he's not a baby, he's like 7 or something, but still I was genuinely concerned. Did you see that ending coming?
Not at all. I honestly felt like when I just felt like Louise was going to die, literally, and that would have been it. I just thought it would have been a happy ending for
Louise was going to die. Adele. Yeah,
I thought it was going to be a happy ending for Louise and Tom or Dr.
David.
Whatever.
You're just making up names. I don't even know who Tom was.
Tom is the name of the actor, the guy who plays him is called Tom.
Oh, okay. Sorry, let me look at my actor list. That is right. Tom Bateman.
Sorry.
Well done.
But yeah, David. I just thought they were going to live happily ever after. I don't know what I was, to be honest, I don't know what I was expecting. What about you?
No, I didn't expect the ending at all. It really took me by surprise, because if you notice that most of the action happened in the last half an hour of the last episode, like everything got revealed, I just was like, first of all, like, Rob was actually killed, or we thought was killed. Then the astral projection, and even the fact that that's what it was. We thought that they were just dreaming, but they were actually moving around in the real world. So I read like a few articles online, and basically these were some of the clues that we may have missed that would have alluded to the ending. Okay, so let's see if you remembered any of these. So Rob was the heroin addict, not Adele, but we saw Adele ejecting herself with heroin on the bed between her toes.
That was true, because I know what. Yes, and also the other thing about that was when she went looking for heroin that day, when she got punched, I was like, is she trying to set him up, or what's gone on there? But
okay. So when we saw Louise and Dr. David making love in Louise's apartment, her flat, did you notice sometimes the camera angle would be from above?
Yeah.
So basically we were watching through the eyes of Adele / Rob spying on Louise and Dr. David, the astro projection.
I didn't think anything about that projection, but I did think that the camera angles are funny, but there was something odd. You got that eerie feeling the times that they were together making love, especially. It was a bit like, there's something not right.
Yeah. Next clue. Adele, when she came to, we call it Adele, fake Adele, when she came to Louise's flat, she came in and looked around the whole flat. I remember for astro projection to work, you have to have visited the place before. So she obviously was memorizing it so she could come back and later spy on Louise and David.
Yeah, there was something about that, again, that didn't make sense. But when I realized, it was like, okay, I just thought, this woman's like really odd that she's just walking freely around someone else's house. But
why did Adele have Rob's diary in the first place?
That is very true.
Sorry, just closing my door. When they were all together at Adele's stately home, what we were actually witnessing was Rob falling in love with David.
When at dinner time, because there was that awkward moment where he was just like lingering, watching him.
Yeah.
And there was a time when David first drives up and like Rob's hiding. You kind of think, is it because he's shy? But no, actually he was falling in love. Yeah.
Okay. Rob's astral projection is blue, while Adele's is pink. So when we saw Rob's, when we thought we were seeing Adele's astral projection, we were actually seeing Rob's, which was blue, mixing with Louise's. So, yeah. And then finally, the poster shows a green beam going between Rob and Louise, which hints at the ultimate ending.
Right now,
are you looking up the poster?
Now I'm going to look at the poster. I'm like, huh? Oh, okay.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it. Interesting.
And then, sorry, this is the final one. The final thing that you may have missed. Did you see the pigeon at the end? So where Rob is now inside of Louise's body, when he comes to Louise's flat, there's a pigeon on the kitchen table that flies out the balcony.
Who do you think that is?
But that pigeon, if you look closely, has a green feather on its neck. Louise's astral projection is green. So the word is online that maybe she put herself inside the pigeon's body. Are you looking it up? Now, I can't take credit for that theory. I actually saw that on Twitter, but it seemed to be backed by quite a few different people.
Okay. I mean, the interesting thing is I guess it's just in case they want to do it behind her eyes too, I guess.
I think there are talks that they're going to do another series, because the book doesn't end there.
Oh, does the book not? I thought the book ended there.
No.
Because I read that in the book, I think that there's quite a disturbing line where she basically says that, you know, she's back with the person that she loves, or her and David are back together or whatever. She's finally got him, and then children can always be disposed of. So it's sort of a bit of an eerie ending, which is kind of what you got in the at the end anyway, which was quite unsettling for me.
So let's address the most unrealistic part of the program.
Is that black women mind their business?
Yes. I was going to lead up to it. I was going to say it wasn't that they covered up the murder. It wasn't that they could astro project. It was that we don't be in people's business like that.
I mean, if you're taught anything, it's to mind your business.
Yeah. And I found myself like screaming at the screen saying, Louise, like, this don't concern you.
I mean, there was time when I think she wrote, when she trekked up to Brighton or down to Brighton, whatever, I was like, this is a step too far. When she writes a letter to the police, I'm like, you're doing too much. When she meets him at King's Cross and wants to go with him and calls Adele to tell her what's happened, and again, I'm like, you're just doing too much.
It was so funny seeing King's Cross, actually, wasn't it? It was so funny seeing King's Cross with loads of people, actually. Yeah. Doing too much. Another unrealistic part. Do you think this Scottish white man is going to be able to pass himself off as this black woman? Mother of one. Because I tell you where I tell you where the game was away. Do you notice when Rob was inside Louise's body, all of a sudden Louise has a fringe with her curly hair? I was like, what is going on?
He's not going to be. I mean, the sun is going to out him straight away. It's just so, yeah.
I'm scared for little Adam, Louise's son. But yeah, as I said, I heard that there was going to be a part 2. So if there is, what are your predictions?
If there's a part 2, I have a feeling I think I was talking about this with someone. It might be like you, because I have a feeling Louise is gone. And I wonder if it'll be like the you.
Don't forget the pigeon.
Okay, I'm going to go with the fact that she's probably not going to appear again. So I think it might just be like, it might just be like you, and there'll just be another situation. Because I just think the idea of a pigeon, then, that is so far-fetched.
Okay, you need to go back and watch the pigeon bit. So my predictions actually include the pigeon. So I predict, because this is the only way that I can sleep at night, because I'm genuinely, when the ending happened, all I kept on thinking about was Adam. I'm not going to lie, I didn't really have the same sympathy for Dr. David. I felt like he could have done more. And I felt like Louise, as we discussed, could have minded her own business, which would have avoided this, but she was doing, YOLO. But I just want her to come back and re-enter her body from the pigeon and save Adam. That's my only wish or prediction for season 2.
Okay, I mean, that's a lot. That could be done in one episode. So if that's
yeah, I don't mind. Oh, I forgot to add in this bit. I might just edit this in. So because of, Behind Your Eyes, I just couldn't stop thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I actually had a dream this week where I was on the bus going down Tottenham Court Road.
Okay.
And I wanted to get off the bus, but I couldn't get off. I felt uncomfortable because people were not wearing their masks. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to get off and I couldn't get off. And I was getting more and more anxious. And then in my dream, I looked at my hands and saw I had extra fingers. And I was like, it's a dream. And I got off the bus and then I walked to the park near my old workplace.
Mm-hmm.
So it works.
Girl, bye.
You have to listen to me. It works. I was able to escape my dream. I'm leaving this on the pod.
Are you really?
Listeners? Yeah, listeners, if you've been able to do that, let me know, because I want to know. Because May is not being
going on here right now.
She's not supporting. This is a safe space. Okay, let's move on to our highlights of the week. So May, what's your highlight of the week? What do you want to bring a spotlight to? Anything you want to big up, bring attention to our listeners, recommend? What's it going to be?
Okay, so my highlight, I feel like I always do this every time I come on. It's like a highlight, but it's also a low light. So my highlight was I was quite looking forward to watching To Come Into America.
Oh, I think that was mine as well, but you go on.
So I think we even said, oh, we're going to watch it on Friday night. And so watched it yesterday, was looking forward to it. I thought to myself, it's been a while since this film came out, so let's enjoy it on a Friday night. 1 hour in and I'd fallen asleep.
Yeah.
So I just think I'm just going to bring Coming to America to the attention of everybody. It'd be really interesting to hear what people's thoughts and views were about the film. Mine were that it wasn't worth it. It was very...
This is highlight of the week, by the way.
I know it is, sorry. But I always go off topic.
Can I put a more positive spin on it? Because I had the same highlight of the week.
Oh, you did? See, go on then.
Yeah. But I was actually going to, promote it as a highlight.
No, but you know what I'm going to say? I'll tell you what I will say.
Okay, you land. Go for it.
When I land, thank you. I would say about it is that it was nice to see all the old cast members back on the big screen. That was probably what was nice about it. Okay, you can go.
Okay. So my highlight of the week is also Coming to America. But I'm going to say you should watch the Eddie Murphy trilogy on Amazon. So that is Boomerang, Coming to America 1, and then finish on Coming to America 2. So, and you will definitely enjoy it a lot more. So I was... Coming to America Part 2 is what I was expecting 30 years later to be. I think they could have... I don't want to spoil any of the plot because it's still quite early, but I think there were just some missed opportunities as a storyline. But let's hear what people think about it more and stuff like that. But definitely, if you watch those 3 films in a row, your experience of the whole thing will be much better. Because I watched Boomerang the other day and I was reminded that's a great film, and I'm going to watch Come to America 1 tonight just for the scene with Randy Jackson. Yeah.
Do you know what I do find about it is I really, and this is not a spoiler, I just struggle with American actors and actresses putting on a general
African in quotation marks
accent. I'm just like, what
there's
is
no
happening
such thing as
here?
an African accent, by the way. It's like this. It's a lot of countries together.
But yeah, anyway, that's my highlight of the week.
Yeah. Wesley Snipes' African accent, in quotation marks, was not actually too bad. He sounded like he was from a potential country in Africa. So I appreciated that.
I mean, what's his name? Rotimi. Again, he was in it. He's Nigerian and the accent was still off. But anyway.
But I feel like that's a general thing. But anyway, do go and watch the film. That's our highlight. Okay, May. So we've come to the end of the podcast. Thank you, as always, for coming back and having a chat with me. As always, you can find Colour Out the Box on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. May, where can the people find you?
On Twitter, I can't even remember my Twitter handle, and that's how much.
I think it's like Miss May.
Maybe
Miss May 213.
Yeah, so that's me on Twitter. That's it really. My Instagram is private, so
yeah.
But
Great.
That's it. I mean, I think you're going to have me back, and I might do another blog for Colour Out the Block.
Yeah, because May, you formerly wrote Learning in Lockdown, which is currently on the blog. So everyone, please go and have a read of that. It's a really honest kind of like perspective of the education system, and also supporting parents in terms of having to teach their children in a pandemic. So do go and have a read.
Yeah.
And I would say go and listen to one of Colour Out the Box previous episodes, the Queen and Slim one. Queen and Slim is on Amazon as well. So if you haven't watched it or you're rewatching it, go and listen to that episode as we talk all things Queen and Slim and give our breakdown of Daniel Kaluuya, as Dr. Umar likes to call him, and all those good things.
You know what? I haven't seen Queen and Slim yet, believe it or not. So I should. I know. I don't know why.
Watch
check that out.
Watch it and then go and listen to that episode. We'll put it in the show notes.
Will do.
Okay. Until next time. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Mo.